When we talk about the high quality alt season, total activity in all of crypto, we'll get to 942 million wallets by the end of this year.
Right.
By the end of 2025. It just shows you the speed this is growing. And when I looked at it, I mean, there's now twice as many of those. Let's assume the number of active users is 500 million, whatever the number is, pick your number. It's more than all of the traditional brokerage accounts added together. It's a roadmap. It's the contextualization of where we are in the cycle and what to kind of expect in all traditional markets. That's what I've got to is like, there's more active people in this because of the young cohort and all the foreigners and everybody else, because it's a global access to globalized products than exist elsewhere in all of market.
Raoul Pal says crypto adoption is growing at record speed, with wallets expected to surpass 1 billion by 2025. He sees this as a major shift in global finance, driven by younger generations and broader access to digital asset. He believes we are entering a super acceleration phase, with Bitcoin and altcoins set to benefit from liquidity growth and institutional inflows. Pal predicts this cycle could turn crypto into a $10 trillion market, powered by weakening fiat and large-scale adoption. Pullbacks, he notes, are normal resets before big rallies. With volatility still in play, Bitcoin's next move depends on global liquidity, but Pal is confident the market is entering what he calls the banana zone.
Stop. You don't have time. Don't miss out this 2025 bull run. Educate yourself first ahead of the crowd. We have created the ultimate step-by-step crypto cheat guide that will guide you this bull run. Unlock the secrets of crypto and make smarter investments today. Now by clicking on the link below to get your exclusive copy just under $10.
When we talk about the high quality alt season, quality layer ones, revenue generating projects, and a few big things that capture attention, whatever they may be, that don't come with revenues or anything else, but they capture attention. We're seeing, Hyperliquid's obviously one of them, maybe Athena's another. We're seeing, obviously, Sui, Solana, because before Ethereum, to your point, back in 2021, with the economic activity that was going there, was too expensive. It was the California of the crypto economy, and everyone's like, yeah, we love it here, it's amazing, but I can't afford to live here any longer.
Yeah, we don't like the policy, so we're going to move.
And welcome to Solana. I keep an eye on that crypto.com number of active wallets metric, which is now at 900 million. It was 600 last year. Now it's like, we're going to get to 1 billion by Q1 of next year. We're starting to see picking up in activity overall, but it's still not quite perfect. But overall activity about, how is this new global economy, so not the regional economies of Ethereum versus Solana, but the global economy doing, total value that's happening on this. Because, that's something I think we don't step back enough, and I try and do that as much as possible, just to see, how we doing. And I've talked about it with the number of wallets. Super interesting to know what the total activity in all of crypto is.
So right there you have, the lion's share of all settlement value across the, across the crypto ecosystems. Now, Solana and Sui, which has really raced up, the growth rates in Sui this year have been phenomenal. And I'm trying to dig a little bit deeper in terms of like the, where that value is sort of flowing from and to.
I think it's because I did the work on it in GMI and looked at its relative growth versus Solana. Because similar fast performant modern chains, and it's massively outstripping the speed. Obviously, it's at earlier stage, so of course the rate of change. It seems that it's the Bitcoin settlement layer that's big, plus stablecoins are moving fast. And the DeFi ecosystem is starting to work as well.
Yeah. So Bitcoin on Sui.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was genuinely surprised that Sui had increased its position in terms of settlement values to where it is now, where it's rivaling Solana. So that's pretty phenomenal. BNB still there. It does. Yeah, and
just again for people to frame this is the settlement value of Metcalfe's law. When you look at Solana, there's more active users. So, of course, Solana is still worth more than Sui, which doesn't have as many active users, even though it's settling the same amount. It's like Doge has a lot of value as a market cap because it has a lot of active users and holders, and less so of the on-chain activity. So it's like you can have different variations of this that drives the overall market cap value.
Yeah, and there's no perfect mix as well. I would argue that application diversity, is a very important metric overall. That takes time, and Solana has that.
Because if not, it's like, again, going back to the economic example, it's like the Saudi Arabian economy is just oil. Can be very profitable, very rich, but it's so driven by one factor. So the more diversified the economy, like the US economy, for example, the better it is. But I mean, I wonder what total daily value is. A couple of trillion a day. I wonder what we totally do across all of crypto, Bitcoin, smart contracts, the whole lot.
Yeah. So it's around 70 billion in terms of settlement value on chain a day.
70 billion in settlement value versus kind of call it 4 trillion in total value, right?
Yes, that's right. For the last 5 years is $57 trillion. Smart contract platforms, that excludes Bitcoin.
We seem to be going faster than the projection, because we were projecting about a 43% annual growth, but it looks like at this stage, but it looks like it's still growing faster than that. So it's still growing faster than the internet was at this stage, which is an extraordinary thing.
Raoul Pal points out that crypto adoption is growing at record speed, with active wallets set to cross 1 billion by 2025. This signals a major financial shift as digital assets become a core part of the global economy. He expects huge institutional inflows and weaker fiat to fuel the next bull cycle. Pal predicts crypto could reach a $10 trillion market, with Bitcoin driving the momentum.
I looked at the on-chain data on Bitcoin, the ETF flows between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and obviously the price action. And it very much lines up with, that transition period in the crypto market from Bitcoin dominance to high quality alts, not, a dash for trash sort of market that we saw in 2021 when people were getting stimulus checks, but a high quality alt season.
How are you thinking this next phase is, and what are the types of tokens that participate?
Yeah, I like the way that you've just distilled that down into a very clear sort of representation of what really matters. Cash flows, are there protocols that are fundamentally strong, meaning that they have cash flows, they have usage, they deliver utility, and have very strong tokenomics. And there are a handful of those, and they are being rewarded by the market as they should. I've always had this view that as the asset class grows and as the, for lack of a better term, sophistication of the marginal new investor comes in, that they're going to look at fundamentals more and more. It's always been my base case. And I think that's playing out. I mean, you mentioned Hyperliquid generating a huge amount, generating the sort of cash flow or revenues that would make a, NASDAQ 100 company sort of water, like in terms of just the growth. In terms of like the multiples, I know we're not talking like for like, but in the case of Hyperliquid, it's trading on a revenue multiple that would put it, in the median of a tech stock in the S&P. But it is those high quality tokens, L1s, and the DeFi protocols, and the things that will grab attention because that is not going away. Memes are definitely not going away. In fact, I'm starting to entertain maybe my first meme position, which we can talk about later, because I've...
By the way, the Doge ETF launches tomorrow. So by the time this is out, it'll have launched.
It's a much more discerning market, and you're not seeing the broad-based rally. I mean, we're still, I think, early stages of this sort of broadening out or alt season, for lack of a better term. But it is going to be a very discerning type rally until we get to the end, when there will be short-term pumps and small caps, real small caps with, no product market fit that will start running. And that is on my, that's on my checklist for a market peak, and we're not there yet.
So let's first talk about layer ones. And you and I have kicked this around for a long time. I don't believe that revenue is, revenue accrued to the chain itself is the key metric. Where is your measures? Because you look at liquidity too, and you've been posting some stuff on X about it. Give us your top down where we are on the liquidity cycle from your perspective.
So I think April for me was the demarcation of an important inflection in liquidity, because I have my own global liquidity index, as do you, and they're all sort of like proxies for kind of what we think global liquidity is, and they differ a little bit, but once you regress these things, they have a very strong correlation. And if you do sort of like predictive measures like Granger, causality, and whatever, yes, it does have very significant predictive value. So I do use it a lot, but I also appreciate that it's not a perfect one-for-one for global liquidity.
No, and people get confused over that. It's a roadmap. It's the contextualization of where we are in the cycle and what to kind of expect, as opposed to, oh well, it went up today, so in a month's time it'll go up. It's like, it doesn't work that way.
Which is why they've got marginal new dollars coming into the financial system to buy assets in the first place. So, but that sort of what I call like a super bullish regime, which is just like using technical analysis on global liquidity, looking at the breakout that happened in April, gives us runway for another. Typically, though, these periods of like the breakouts last for about 2 years based on previous cycles.
Raoul Pal sees crypto adoption surging past 1 billion wallets, with institutions joining in, calling this the start of a $10 trillion asset class. He believes weak fiat and strong liquidity will drive the next major bull run. With Bitcoin and high-quality altcoins leading, Pal says this cycle could be the biggest wealth shift yet. Will Bitcoin set new all-time highs soon? Which altcoins do you see leading the rally? Let us know in the comments.